Welcome to the High-Tech Investments News Report for Week 15. The news report covers some of the many investments projects High-Tech Investments is currently involved in so you can follow our progress. We hope you will enjoy this news feed and look forward to your comments and remarks.
Hi, Bo here, and welcome back to this week's news report, where once again it is time to have a look back in the last week, see what actually happened. And boy, oh boy, a lot of things has happened, not only in the last week, but in a couple of weeks here. If you have noticed, and if you saw my last week's weekly news report in here, you might have seen this particular one in here with a huge profit. Some of them going 5 times up, some 10 and even 12 times in here. Now, this was all good, and obviously this came out also of the trade war, all the tariffs around the world that US was trying to put on. Since then, things have obviously changed again here now. So that means that some of the stocks were first up, now they're down. Same thing with the currencies here also. Had a very good spike. After that, things came down again, and obviously the volatility here continues because there's a lot of uncertainty in all the world's markets at the moment, where it's going, what is coming next. And that's also why we can actually report in this particular week here that we have even bigger profits on our EAs. Yes, they are still working quite well. Some of them have a bit of drawdown here higher than what we have seen before, but that would be very, very strange given the way the market operates here at the moment. So make sure that you watch this entire video in here, because the numbers are mind-boggling compared to what we have seen in the past couple of years trading all these EAs. Obviously, we're also going to go in and see the benefits here of the copy-link trading, because a lot of people have made a lot of money. So with some of our signals in here, we're going to show you some of the best ones, which has still a low drawdown. Other ones obviously has a bit of a higher one compared to where we normally would like to be, but they have cashed in very, very nicely. Some of them 10-20% in simply just 1 week. And we also have to go by here. So with Alex, Expert Forex, this is a new EA, or well, it's a new development of an older EA in here, generation 3 now. I'm going to talk to you about it a bit more during the video here also. So make sure you watch the video to the end. Let's get into it. Let's see what has changed from last week. So the first place we're going to start is obviously at Yieldnodes. Again, on the website itself here, nothing much has changed. Everything is pretty much status quo. And we go straight to the audit coin reserves, which is the only thing that is actually getting updated here from Yieldnodes. We still have week 14, which is last week. 15 is here. Last week, we noticed that there wasn't any changes on the masternodes running in here. This week, there is. If you look at the top one, 777, 3641, actually gone up from 36 to 59. So again, in here, looks like 18 new masternodes are running. Staking balance is still the same. And then the PNY also here that we are following closely here is another 3 masternodes starting off. And then we can see around 11 for the SAP also. So the numbers are quite low compared to some of the previous weeks that we had a look at. If we go and have a look at the SAP coin also in here, there is not really much happening at all. We saw a bit of a sell last time, so last week in here. After that, there's a few buys, again, very low volume, and that doesn't really change anything on the coin value itself. So this is the same history as we now seen here for more than a year. But we are still staking, and the SAP staking has been quite good. We're up now at about 92,000, so that's obviously quite nice. And if you then transfer that to when it was almost 1-to-1 with the dollar in here, then it would have been nice money. Right now, it's not worth very much, but still, we are doing the staking. You never know what's going to happen. So that means also that we got 4,701 SAP in, or 5.2. It has come down, and you'll also notice that the individual payouts that you get from the staking seems to have changed and actually going a bit up and down at the moment. You can see 104.30, and then the next one 107.45. You got a few of those, and then it drops back down again to 104. And you'll also notice that normally we have a full list on the screen in here. This time around, there's only these, I believe it's 9 that is in here, so that we've gotten in the last week. That's also why April looks like it's not gonna get even close to what we actually saw here back in February and March. PNY still going strong. We have about 11.3% and another 6,384 PNY coming in. So that takes our total up to 72,000 now. And it looks like also for the month of April, things are looking good. They are certainly still developing quite nicely. There is a lot of entries every single day. And obviously that's nice. But again, the same currency pairs are worth pretty much nothing at the moment. Talking about values of coins, Bitcoin is obviously the leading one, and last time it was actually dropping through the market here all the way down to 76,000. Since then it popped up to around 80 just to drop down again, and afterwards it looks like the market has come down a bit here, waiting for the next thing comes out of the US. In the meantime, the price has slowly but surely creeped up to about 84,525 as we are shooting this particular video in here. So it is far from the all-time high past 100,000, and obviously everybody is worried and waiting on what is the next thing that's going to come out and how it's going to affect all the crypto prices in here. In the meantime, we know that our Wave Liberator, so that is cashing in quite nicely. And you'll see the numbers here also for week 15 for the top 5 EAs. New Zealand Japanese is actually the one did the best with $124, 12.4%. This is just for 1 week, remember that. Normally we're happy with about 5-10% per month. Euros, Swiss francs, $97, 9.7%. And here 92 for the Euro USD. 9.2% with New Zealand Swiss francs at $74, 7.4%, and then Euro Great British Pounds, $73, 7.3%, and overall for the top 5, if you had it on a $1,000 account, which they are set up for, you would have made $460 or 9.2% just for 1 week. Definitely some very, very good numbers coming out here at the moment, and you can also see in here from the Wave Liberator. So balance is 264,000, equity is 251. We started off with about 220,000. So 22 times $10,000 accounts. So it's going well. Monthly returns 1.1 or 11% on $1,000 accounts. Trade wins are good, 68%. So that's okay. And trades per day 14 with a history now of more than 600 days. So plenty of information and data to get. And that's also why you will have on the copy link service, you can go in and actually link to every single one of the Wave Liberators we have in here. And they are set up so you can go straight in $1,000 accounts, or give yourself a bit more space as you are learning the signals. Put it in on a 2,000 or 3,000, or simply just dial down the lot factor in here. You can do that. So let's have a look at the graph. Very, very nice. You can see in the last couple of weeks, things have gone up. Have a look here also of what the entire portfolio did, 1,102. So this is obviously the biggest one that we had for the Wave Liberator. Previously, we had 771 last week. So now we're doing even better. Heavy volatility in the market, both up and down. That's what this particular EA is cashing in on. Same thing here with the RSI Liberator for week 15. Extremely strong numbers, even better than the Wave Liberator. US dollars, Swiss francs, as I told you, is trending quite a bit. $225, 22.5% just for 1 week. Great British Pounds, Swiss francs, $132, 13.2%, with Aussie Japanese, $122, 12.3%. And then New Zealand Swiss francs, $120, 12%. And at the bottom of the top 5, Euro Great British Pounds at an astonishing $116, 11.6%. And overall, those top 5 created $715, 14.3% in just 1 week. Most people would be absolutely glorified if they could do this in a month. So that is basically the nature of this particular EAs. Very, very strong at the moment. Floating profit and loss is actually up again. So due to the volatility in here, but overall we are still in plus. Monthly profits is 1 or 10% on $1,000 accounts, and trade wins is quite good here also, 66.6. And then we have trades per day is about 18.8 with a history of 370 days. This EA actually came out later on after the Wave Liberator. But as you can see, it's cashing in quite nicely. And that's also why we have a lot of these links available to you on the coupling service through Expert Forex. All of these you can find on our website, of course. And then we go and have a look at the entire portfolio. Again, we mentioned last week $1,167, so which was a all-time high. Now we have a new all-time high of 1,555. So obviously shattering all expectations, especially when you can see that some of the numbers that we prior had was 700. So that was a very good time. We had one 800 up here, another 800 back in November. But clearly these particular markets conditions at the moment simply just makes these EAs cash in big time. And all of this you can obviously follow on our website as usual, the Wave Liberator. You got it here, you click and you find all the data details, including the FS Blue links, similar for the RSI, and also the Hedged EA that we're going to have a look at yet, because that one has even better numbers than the other two. Hedged EA for week 15, the top 5 EAs, have a look at these numbers here. US Swiss francs, this is the one I told you about, that US dollar is actually weakening against. Everybody is getting rid of their dollars and then getting into the Swiss francs. That's also why you can see there is the top 3 has all Swiss francs in it, $293 and 29.3% is the top one. Great British Pound Swiss francs, $279, 27.9%, and then the Euro Swiss francs, $258, 25.8%. Euro Aus, $244, 24.4%, and then Aussie Swiss francs, $200, 20% as a clean sweep here. If you would have traded these top 5 EAs, you would have made $1,273 or 25.5% just for this 1 week. So obviously this gives you, if the trend would have continued in here, about 100% per month, which is absolutely crazy. And these numbers here should normally be for about 2 months. So that's how crazy the market has been here at the moment, and very, very unpredictable all the way through. You will also notice this in here, the Hedged EA. So this is also the one that has the biggest floating profit and loss of all the EAs we have in here. But you can see how smooth everything was running. So it was going quite nicely. Then in the last couple of weeks up to, everybody went into limbo mode in here. And after that, the market went completely crazy and just cashing in overall. So again, you can see monthly returns is calculated now at 1.9 or 19%. So obviously this will come down once this period is over. There's no doubt about it. Most probably it should be closer to about 12 or 13%. And now you can see also weekly returns. We have about 0.5 or 5% on $1,000 accounts. And we have high trade wins. That's also helping with 71%. And the history for this particular portfolio in here is 84 days. And obviously we'll try and get a lot more numbers. It will flatten out the curve again, I'm sure. Now, because this EA hasn't been running for this long and the market has been quite crazy, so we only have a few on the coupling service right now. But if you want to trade some of these, you definitely still go to our website, go through all of these ones that leads you to the FS Blue links. You can figure out which ones are the ones that are doing the best profits, which are the ones that has the lowest drawdowns. You can obviously copy the few we have in here. We will make sure we get more on, but I think Alex is going to wait until the market comes down in here. Also because some of the accounts had a higher drawdown that we would normally like to. We have to adjust them in here, but you can go in and see which ones are the best ones to go by. But most probably keep away from the US dollar here at the moment, unless you have a trending EA you want to test out instead. Also for the portfolio itself, that has also gone completely crazy, as I told you here, not just the top 5. Last week we had 1997 in here. Now we have 2,404. So again, outperforming like completely crazy. Look at just a couple of weeks ago, we had 226. We had then a very, very slow week, 127. The slowest week we've seen since we pretty much started this EA. And then all of a sudden, everything just jumps out of the box here. and then 1900 and 2400 now. So some astonishing numbers in here, but nice to see that the EAs can do both basically. Lucky Trader in here, that has also done extremely well, similar to the Hedged EA, so it is cashing in quite nicely. The top 5 EAs, again we can see Swiss francs up here. The top one is the US dollar Swiss francs, $328, 32.8%. Very, very nice, enough for a couple of months. Euro Swiss francs, $318, 31.8%, with the Euro USD, $216, 21.6%. And then the Aussie Swiss francs, $195, 19.5%. And then EuroCAD, $149, 14.9%. Overall, the top 5 in here made $1,206, 24.1%. So again, astonishing numbers. And also when you look at the entire portfolio, you can see how smooth this has been. Has been a couple of notches up here when things were going quite well. Nothing compared to what we have seen in the past couple of weeks, definitely. A floating profit and a loss is still pretty much under control with most of the Lucky Trader EAs in here. Monthly returns is 1.4 or 14% per month. Based on the FX Blue calculations, weekly returns about 3. Trade wins are high also, 70%. So that's good to see. And with a history of 162 days, you can certainly count on some of these things in here. That's also why we have a lot of the signals on the copy link service. You can go to our website, similar to the other EAs in here, and go and study them. If you don't want to study nothing, you can simply just go on the copy link service, add them in, and then obviously in this volatile market here at the moment, you want to be just a bit cautious here at the moment. So on the US dollar, you'll dial down some of the things in here. Better to be safe than sorry. So let's have a look at the entire portfolio, what it did this week, 2099. So not as well as the Hedged EA, but definitely well enough to be very, very happy with what we have seen. And also last week it was 1575. So already there it was a new all-time high. And we are basically breaking records every single week here at the moment with this setup. The same thing goes for the Bell Trader. Also all-time highs again in here. You'll notice that the Great British Pounds CAD is actually on top here with $301, 30.1%. So again, astonishing numbers in here just for a week. Aussie USD, $219, 21.9%. And then you have the Euro Swiss francs, $190, 19%, with Great British Pounds USD at 140, 14%. And then New Zealand USD, $103, 10.3%. Overall for these top 5s in here, $954 or 19.1%. And again, some astonishing numbers from all these different EAs. And when we look at the entire portfolio in here, again, you can see it has been quite good all the way through. And then obviously cashing in something extra. Monthly return for this particular EA is still the lowest one we have. It's 0.9 or 9% on a monthly basis. And then weekly returns is about 2%. Trade wins are quite good with 70.8%. And then trades per day is still lower. You can see it's gone up. I believe it was somewhere around 7 or 8. Trades per day is now about 10. And that's again because of the volatile market in here. We got the history of 133 days. And that's also why some of the best ones we have in here is now also on the copy link service. You can go on our website, have a look at it again, FX Blue, or you can go to Expert Forex website and then find them in here. They are all working quite nicely. And when you have a look at the portfolio, last week, again, we said we had an extremely good week with 764. Now that is actually also up to 1,062. All of them have done basically a lot better than we ever would have expected. But we also have to cover Expert Forex and Alex. And I mentioned in the beginning of the video here a newly launched grid trading robot in here. Now this, I have the old grid trading robot in here, so that has a lot of different settings. So this particular one here is a new one, an improved one. It's actually a generation 3 one. I've just gotten access to that particular one in here, so I'm going to start trading this, start setting it up. You'll also see that in the future on the website itself, so you can follow it, see how well that one is doing. But what Alex is showing you here, that this newly launched one is actually also making money, and obviously he's going to show you a bit about it. I'll make sure that the link is in the video description below. Same here, also with a positive result in a wild market. And again, copy this particular strategy in here. So this is another one of Alex's, showing again what is actually happening in the market and how you can actually cash in with some of his EAs. We also need to have a look at the copy link service in here. And as usual, we've downloaded the Expert Forex Excel, and then we sort it out. So floating profit and loss, we don't want to have anything showing more than -300. You can see the numbers are quite low. Some of them are actually 0. So that also means that they have been extremely good all the way through, or it hasn't really jumped out at us. At least go still have a look at some of the links over here if the numbers doesn't make sense to you. Then we have also sorted out the total negative weeks in the last 8 weeks. We don't want to see more than -300. And you can see those numbers here is well within, extremely good, under control. Return on drawdown has to be more than 200. We have one that is actually at 2000 in here, showing up in red for some reason, even though that the gains also we are basically setting up from high to low is 42%. The highest one is link 1K, and then link 197C, 50% in here in the last 8 weeks. This is again on equity, not on balance, just so you are aware. And you can obviously go and have a look and see if all these are interesting to you. We have tried to sort them out, so it is just the ones EAs that we are actually dealing with here at the moment that we are comparing. There's also some in here that is actually showing a bit more on the drawdown. So it is getting very complicated to sort this out right. So that's why we have set up the new list the way we are doing it. And then hopefully you can go and take these particular numbers here, go and have a look on our website to see which ones you would actually like to start trading today, because there is very, very good money, as you can see in it here right now. So this is what we had for you in this week's news report. As you can see, huge profits are still coming in. Market very volatile, and obviously the EAs doesn't really care if it goes up, if it goes down. Yes, they have some drawdowns that is higher. That is quite normal. And obviously we're also making adjustments, because even though we've done adjustments every single week, every single month, every single year, it looks like this particular last couple of weeks here is basically breaking whatever mold we had here before. So we're spending a lot of time analyzing the trends, analyzing the markets, trying to get our grid size just right. So still we are both doing a lot of good profits, steady profits over time in here. We were actually quite happy with 5 or 10%, but obviously when markets come alive like this with high volatility, so and basically jigsaw up and down in here, where other ones are trending. So basically because the investors are running away from the US dollar, then that means that some of the other currency pairs in here, like the euro, like the Great British pounds, and especially here also the Swiss francs, is getting stronger, and we'll have to see if that trend is actually reversing. If it is, there's more things to cash in here, and obviously you'll be the first one to know if you tune in on next week's video. So until then, I hope to see you around. Thank you for today, and bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report. So please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way, you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.